Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is a screencast thematic presentation recording for the second half of the warm-up packet cycle that we're currently on for the third quarter. Before we get started, please let me encourage you to open up to the correct warm-up packet template and to write down the questions and the answers as they appear on the slides presentation. Please remember that when you are finished, you may gladly submit this warm-up packet cycle accordingly on Google Classroom. Let's go and get started. Tuesday and Wednesday. What types of specific characteristics do political campaign commercials have that make them truly effective? In this lesson, we're going to learn more about the essence of political campaign commercials and what makes them effective to the masses. Let's go and get started. Timing is probably one of the most important factors facing a commercial. As commercials are relatively short and contrite in their longevity, they only have a certain period of time to actually drive home their points effectively. Additionally, imagery is also really important. These are the types of pictures included that are meant to elicit short or long-term memory capabilities. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Additionally, wording can be powerful and impactful. The types of key phrases utilized help brand a message of a campaign or a candidate. The narrative and messaging is also really important too. The types of commercials utilize different approaches accordingly. There are informational commercials, attack ads, counter ads, or fear-mongering ads. All these ways and means of commercial advertising in political campaigns can be helpful and fundamental. Emotional appeals and tailoring to them can also be beneficial. Commercials tap into emotional appeals of diverse viewers accordingly, and sometimes the more emotional a commercial is, the more impactful it may be in the long term. Speaking of impact, overall, political campaign commercials strive to leave a lasting impact and cause some sort of action amongst the viewers. Whether it's showing up and showing out at the polls or, of course, voting a certain type of way, sometimes campaign commercials can drive voters to do different things in a positive and productive way that is conducive to the campaign's and candidates' needs. Let's proceed to the next question today. From Thursday and Friday, what key characteristics define media news networks and reporting on political events and news? So, for this lesson, we essentially try to understand some fundamentals between news media broadcasting in the media world that we live in today. Let's go ahead and answer this question today accordingly. The first thing I want you to know is that network organizations by design might contain certain news networks or news pieces in a certain specified way for a certain specified reason. For example, in the case of an impeachment trial, if the president was Republican, of course Fox News might cover that differently than, say, CNN or MSNBC. Additionally, the stories that are aired that physically make it through the gate on the media can show a certain type of bias or an agenda being driven. The types of guests that are invited to provide insight on shows can also show a specified type of bias. The usage of panels can also be showing signs of bias. So the arrangement of the types of experts that are invited to give insight and the types of organizations that they're from can also show bias. Additionally, data can also show bias too. Types of data, the charts, the visuals, the quotes included, if any at all, can show bias in reporting. And last but certainly not least, the way that these news media networks attempt to actually provide some type of influential means in the long term can show a bias as well. So for example, news media networks might show a certain level of hyperinflated emotion when it comes to conveying a story to try to leave a lasting impact on you. And in this way, this might alter the news story being conveyed to you in a big dynamic fashion. So as you guys can see, those are the ways and means upon which mass media affects our essence of citizens in our democracy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and good luck with completing the rest of the warm packet accordingly.